And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the DS Podcast. Let's get right into it, man. All right, Romell, man. Do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Respect. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, bro.
Good.
So, Romell, what made you come to China, man?
What made me come to China? So I'd have to take you back a little bit. It was about 5 years ago. I was doing the 9 to 5 corporate thing, working in the office. I had a government job at the time, paid pretty decent, but man, I just weren't satisfied with the quality of life here in the UK. I knew there was more for me out there. By that time, I'd taken a couple of holidays, but I've never lived abroad before. So long story short, I was at work one time, brother. Wasn't really concentrating. I was watching videos while I was working, and I stumbled across a video. It was from a YouTuber called Wadamaya, and I saw this little black kid speaking fluent Chinese, and it blew my mind. I was thinking, what? There's an African kid speaking fluent Chinese. I thought that was crazy. And then he started talking about possibilities of living full-time in China, making a full-time income, teaching English, and being able to travel and make money at the same time. And the moment I saw that, it was like the light bulbs went off in my mind. It was like ding, 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 ding. Since then, I didn't waste no time. The same day, I went home, signed up to get my teacher's license, and I'd say about 8 months later, I was gone. I just wanted to have an adventure, try something different, leave the UK, started learning Chinese. So that was the initial stages and the initial inspiration for why I moved to China.
Oh, man. So, what time of the year do you think is best to travel to China?
Man, I say any time of the year. And the reason why I say that is because China's geography is so huge. It's such a vast country. Just the geography itself, it could be its own continent. So the different areas, depending on where you go, the climate is so different. If you go up north, more like Beijing kind of area, quite cold. The winter time is ridiculously cold. I'm talking snow, blizzards, all of that. But if you go further down south, the major cities there like Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Chengdu, which is where I'm going to be when I go back, it's extremely hot over there, really hot, pretty much all year round. So I'd say any time is good to go. It really just depends on where you're going.
Yeah. Okay. So, what would you say is like the best spots to actually hang around in China?
What's the best story?
The best spots.
The best parts.
Spots in
Oh, the
China.
best spots.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Yo, man, how much time you got?
There you go all day, brother.
With the best spots, I'm gonna say it really comes down to what you're looking for. It really depends. But I will say this: with China is impossible to be bored in. And when I mean that, not as an exaggeration, it's literally impossible to be bored in China. There's so much to do, so much to see, and regardless of whatever you're into, there's something for everybody. If you like to club, if you like to party, they got all of that. If you're more of a party goer, I say you want to hit the cities Chongqing or Chengdu. They're two major cities down south in the Sichuan area. It goes down there. Those two parties, major metropolises, very much more of a young crowd. I'd say mid to late 20s, early 30s, love hip hop, especially American hip hop. They're super influenced by American hip hop. Bit more open-minded than other places in the country. So if you want to party, have a good time, hit the clubs, Chengdu and Chongqing are two cities you absolutely want to be in. If you like more of the bougie, kind of like more upscale kind of lifestyle, upscale girls, bit of more the bougie women, bougie life, you want to go to Shanghai, man. Absolutely want to go Shanghai. Shanghai is where you're going to see the money. You're going to see girls in Chanel, man, them dressed up real nice, a bit more bougie. If you like country, scenery, Man, I'd say you got to travel all over China for that. Like China's geography is so vast, so beautiful. You have places like Zhangjiajie. It's called Zhangjiajie. If you've ever seen the Avatar movie, you've seen the Avatar movie, right?
I think the first one, but not the second one
First one,
yet.
yeah, it was filmed in Zhangjiajie, so it's actually a real place. When you had
Oh,
those tall mountains where like those flying dragons were all up in the mountain,
oh yeah.
yeah, it's a real place, bro. Like it's real. You Google Zhangjiajie, Zhangjiajia. Beautiful. You see the scenery there. Hunan's beautiful. Man, I'd say for geography all over China, the geography is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it just depends what you're looking for, man. Oh,
Mm.
also the beaches, they got some good beaches. So there's a place called Sanya. Sanya. It's known as China's version of Hawaii. So you want to go to a nice beach, see some
Oh,
Chinese bikinis, you gotta hit Sanya.
okay. so so speaking on the hip hop part in the clubs and stuff like that, I'm not really like a club guy, but now how's that like in terms of getting tourists in there? Is it very black? Any foreigners coming in or?
Okay, so same. I'm not really a big club goer anymore, but when I was there 5 years ago, I was a little younger. That was me. I was into it. So it depends. I don't really recommend going to the Chinese clubs. I mean, if you want to experience it, it's an experience. But for me, they're a bit boring and it's not really the one. They mainly just play like EDM, techno kind of music. I mean, if you're into that, sure, go to the Chinese clubs. When the
Mm.
Chinese clubs, people are really just there just to be seen there, take pictures for Instagram, all about the clout. Super busy, super loud, a lot of beautiful women, loads. But more time you're gonna see people just chilling on the side, talking to their friends, taking pictures. No one's really dancing like that. And you going in as a black man, especially if you're speaking to these women, the Chinese dudes are the security guards. They be hating, man. They be hating
Oh
heavy.
man, they receive blocking. Oh
Oh
wow.
yeah, man, still blocking hard. Especially the security guards, they'll find any excuse to come over and have a problem with you. I remember
Oh
one
wow.
time I was in a Chinese club, right? They were doing some show. They had a bunch of Russian girls on the stage. They blew confetti all over the place. Confetti was just blown everywhere. So confetti's all in my drinks, my food on my table. I'm just brushing the confetti off the table. I had a couple Chinese girls on my table. Security guard comes over, try to tell me off, saying, "Hey, stop making a mess. Stop putting rubbish on the floor." I said, "Bro, look around, man. There's confetti everywhere. I didn't blow it. You blew it. Your club blew it on the floor. What I'm putting rubbish on the floor. You crazy?" But that's what I'm talking about. Any excuse, man, to C block. Now, if you go to more of the foreign clubs or the Chinese clubs that more have a lot of foreigners in there, way more of a chill vibe. Way more of a chill vibe. So, last time I was living in a city called Jinan. It's the capital city of a province called Shandong. Let me break it down. So you're from America. You guys got states, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So think of China as having states. They call it provinces. What you guys call states, they call provinces. So let's say, for example, what state are you from?
North Carolina.
What's the capital city in North Carolina?
Uh, I'm actually from South Carolina, so I'm actually new to North Carolina, but I think
It don't matter.
I think
Basically,
Charlotte.
I was okay. Well, let's just say I was in the state or province of Shandong. I was in their capital city called Jinan. And I used to go to this one Afrobeats bar. It was sick, man. So when you go to the foreign bars, you get way more love. You see a lot of foreigners from all over the world, whether it be Black Americans, Black British, Moroccan, people from all over Africa, Turkish people, Russian people, German people, and obviously lots of Chinese people. And you find that the Chinese people that go to the foreign bars, they're usually way more chill, way more cool. That's why they're in the foreign bars. So I recommend you want to go to the foreign bars if you're into the club scene. Stay away from the Chinese clubs. Not really the one, man.
Okay, hidden gem
And you'd be
right there,
surprised
man.
the music they play, man. In the foreign bars, you're gonna hear more hip hop, more R&B, more Afro beats, more of a variety. Yeah, more specific to a black man's taste. Not to stereotype, but let's be fair.
Mm.
Yeah.
So In terms of how much money to live in China, how much do you think it is in terms of getting by like a simple lifestyle or like a luxury?
Okay, the cost of living in China is quite low, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you're talking in terms of living, so living in China, most likely most foreigners that live in China, they live in China and they work as English teachers. Okay, you can do some other jobs, but the vast majority of foreigners in China are teaching English. Now, your typical salary, let me break it down for you. A typical average salary for an English teacher in China, let's say on a monthly basis, is about $2,500. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent, not horrible, not wow either. About 2,500 for the month. You're going to be living on $500 a month. So that means you could potentially be saving $2,000 a month. That is good living. I don't know about you, but in London, there's no way in hell I can save 2 grand a month. No way.
Yeah,
Cost of living in London is crazy, but that's the kind of numbers you're working with in China. If you want to live more of a fancier lifestyle, that 500 a month cost of living might go up from anything between 700 to 1,000. But even then, you're still pocketing 1,000 a month saving. So yeah, cost of living is very low, and you have the possibility to stack up a lot of money. Even though the salaries are roughly average, they're not great, they're not low. Just because of the cost of living itself, you can save a lot of money. And there's a lot of opportunities in China. For example, with the teaching, if you have private students, which is very easy to get an extra private students on the side, you can push your salary up from say 2,500 a month to 3,000, 3,500, maybe even 4,000 a month. That's why I love China so much, because the opportunities to make a lot of money are endless. It's really just up to you. You can really make a lot of money in China. Outside of teaching English, I'd say whatever industry you're in, there's a chance to make money. Whether you're a fitness instructor, yoga instructor, whatever you do, there is a market for you in China. The biggest market is teaching English, but there is a market. As long as you're a foreigner, specifically with a Western passport, opportunities are endless for you to make money, especially with the cost of living. So between
yeah,
500,000, really going to be more 5, 6, 700. That's not much, man. Imagine how much you're pocketing.
man, that's great too because now you can just pocket that change and just put it towards investments and grow. So that's a great way to go about it.
Absolutely. I've spoken to a lot of brothers online. Like they're a bit skeptical. They think, "Oh, China, I don't know about that." But like I said, China's not what everyone thinks. Yes, it has its nonsense sides to it, which I'm sure we'll get into the negatives. But for me, the positives outweighed any negatives. When I thought about the opportunities and how much money I could pocket in a short space of time, I usually say to brothers, especially younger brothers, if you're not married, you don't have kids, or you're not ready to just settle down yet, I'd say, hey, if you can devote 1, 2, maybe even 3 years of your life in China, by the time you leave and go to a country you really want to settle in, you're
Mm.
going to go in a very financially strong position.
Okay, yeah. I find it interesting, man, how people always talk bad on China, man, and they
Mm.
just never been. So how can you talk about it if you've never even been there, right?
Well, media, man. Media is a massive engine, man. Media is powerful, and it's the same with us on the reverse. Like going to China, when
Mm-hmm.
people meet me for the first time, they have a certain conception of black people. Either straight away you play basketball, you're a rapper, or you're a gangster. It's always one of those three, man. You're either a rapper, athlete, or a gangster, man. And if you're black, automatically you're African. Like you're straight from Africa. But if you're guys like you and me who are a bit lighter, they assume you're American. So they have their stereotypes as well. But the good thing is I speak Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
So when I speak to the locals, man,
Oh man,
it breaks down barriers, and then they get to know me. And everyone says the same thing. Damn, okay, like I was lied to. Black people are not what I thought. Oh my gosh, you're so interesting. Tell me more. And it's the same with us, man. We see China on the news. We think it's not free there. It's just super controlled or super communist. It's
yeah.
not, man. There are aspects of that, but it's not. I actually experienced more freedom in China. than I did in the UK. And some people find that hard to believe, but it's absolutely true. I could be who I wanted to be. Like I
Mm.
said, I wasn't capped on the amount of money I wanted to make. I felt way more free there.
You know, that's interesting too, man. Because I know there's guys out here, man, like it's ruined the black image, man. You got Johnny Somali just running
Mm.
around doing all this chaos, man. It's giving like a bad image on black people when they go overseas. But as black brothers, we really gotta be out there and put out that positive image, man. It's become somebody, become a king, become somebody who can actually give value to others, and that's something that we just gotta do more of, man. And it's gonna lead to great things. So that's a good point,
Absolutely.
man.
I agree with you. And unfortunately, you've got your Johnny Somalis in China as well. I remember there was one
Mm.
guy on social media, but he was more big on Chinese social media. I can't remember his name, but he became pretty famous for doing the wildest videos, just making black people look stupid, doing dumb things like eating food with his hands, just looking like a savage, and
Yeah,
brushing his teeth with the brush that you clean the toilet with, just making black people look dumb. All these stupid pranks just for views. And then
man.
you see all the Chinese comments about how we're savages and they're laughing at us with monkeys. And he's promoting this, man. So you do get that in China as well. But this is why it's nice to have more educated. And when I say educated, I don't mean as in have a degree. I mean
Mm-hmm.
self-educated. Like you read, you learn, you've got, your to the ground. You read, you learn, you try to better yourself. That's what I mean by educated. More educated brothers out there. We need to start taking our image into our own hands, brother, man. And that's why I respect you with your channel. You're putting out a different image of black people abroad, man. And this is more of what we need. So, yeah, man. Those Johnny Somalis, it's sad that they get clout, but misery loves company. But
I
yeah, man,
agree.
guys, changing the game, man. Guys like us traveling, we're changing the game, changing the black man's image. And like I said, learning languages is great. I cannot, cannot say enough, brothers. Whatever country you're interested in, whether it's Latin America, Japan, Vietnam, Korea, whatever country interests you, invest in learning the language a little bit. One, it boosts your chances economically, relationally, and also it just gives a good representation of us. If you're really
Mm-hmm.
planning on moving abroad, you've got to invest in learning the language. It will up your quality of life tremendously. My experience in China is different from a lot of other guys' experience in China. There's guys I met who lived there for 10 years, never learned the language. I was only there for 7 months and I had the best time in the world. Being able to speak the language opened doors of opportunities for me that other people never got to experience. So I highly recommend learning the language of whatever country you're interested in. Unless you're somewhere like the Philippines where they all speak English, but besides, that's an exception.
Yeah. Um. So what about the apartments over there, man? Is it pretty good? Standing really nice,
Oh
modern.
yeah, it depends on your budget and where you go. So again, China's geography is very different.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said before about people being surprised about China being nice, I would recommend living down South China. The reason why is because in the north, the people are a bit more. I'm going to come back to the question about the apartments, just to give it context. The north is a bit more traditional, little bit more closed-minded, very stuck up. Even Chinese people say this. The northern Chinese, very closed-minded,
Yeah.
arrogant, stuck up. Down south, very open-minded. They travel more accepting of foreigners. I'd say down south is very nice, even in terms of apartments. So when you go to places like Chengdu, Chongqing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, there's money all over China, but these places, some of the apartment complexes there are gorgeous, fantastic. Yourself, like me, even though I was in the north, you can still get nice places up there. I had a 2 bedroom apartment, very nice for about, what was I spending? About $400 a month for a 2 bedroom
Mm-hmm.
apartment, well furnished, everything nice, real nice place.
Okay. Wow. You know, I know Guangzhou is the one I really know because that's actually where I
Mm,
do business as well.
yeah.
So I can resonate with that, man. I know there's other guys out there who can understand that, man. Because I've never been to China, so it only makes sense to listen to what you guys say because you actually been there. So
Guangzhou, have you noticed? I don't know if you've been told, but Guangzhou is known as Chocolate City because it's got the largest population of black people in China, so they call it Chocolate City.
really,
Like most of the Africans are based in Guangzhou, so yeah, that's why they call it Chocolate City. And a lot of business goes down there, like you say.
yeah,
So I'm not surprised you do business there. So many people do import, export. A lot of Africans have their community there, set up business there. So Guangzhou is nice. Guangzhou is definitely nice. Very open-minded as well.
okay. Now, would you say they actually spent? They speak a little bit of English over there, or is it really bad?
It really depends. So China's English speaking industry is booming. Every parent wants their child to learn English. So anyone with any bit of money or even without money, parents are breaking their backs to try and get money together to get their children into private English classes. So especially among the younger generation, the
Mm,
ability to speak English is on the rise. So if you're speaking to anyone from let's say 18 to mid 30s, they most likely will speak a decent level of English. Over 35, not so much, but it's definitely on the rise. You will find a lot of people who can speak English, but China's so huge on a day to day. Probably not, but the people you will associate with, it's easy to find English speakers over there.
okay. Now, if you had to actually guess the percent, what would you say is like the English speaking availability?
I'd say if you're gonna do in proportion to China's population, very low. I mean, it's 1.8 billion people.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to say extremely low in proportion to the country, but water finds its level. You, as a foreign person, whatever city you're in, you will find English speakers, and I can't even tell you exactly how it will just happen. Like I said, water finds its level. As a foreigner, the Chinese people you integrate with, the ones that speak English will find you because the moment they see you, you'll be surprised. You don't have to do anything. They will flood to you because they all want to come and practice their English and speak English with you. So that's why I said water finds its level. You will have no problems finding English speakers. They will come to you.
Okay. That's some good advice right there. Um, so what about the preferred transportation over there? What would you say it is?
Okay. It depends on the city you're in. It really depends. So, for example, where I was, there was no subway underground system. Even though it was a big, somewhat of a big city, there was no underground system. So the main way to get around is by taxi, and they have a taxi service called Didi, Didi. That's their version of Uber.
Mm,
Very cheap, very inexpensive. So you have to get the Didi app. That's your best way to get around. If you're in a bigger city such as Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Chengdu, Chongqing, Shenzhen, then they'll have the subway system, which is super clean, super efficient, damn near never delayed. Like it's run so efficiently. The London subway, the London Underground is disgusting. New York Underground is disgusting. It just stinks of piss. You know that. I remember when I left
oh
China, I
yeah,
came
man.
to England. The first thing I noticed was, damn, this place is disgusting, man. The underground is nasty. Over there,
Mhm.
so clean, so pristine, so efficient. So yeah, I'd say DD or the subway. You can take the buses. Not many. I don't really see many foreigners on the buses. Local public transport. I take it because it's a fantastic way to get to know the city. You take the bus. You look out the window. You really get to know the area. But the main forms of transport will either be Didi or the Uber or taking the subway.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to ask, what is Didi? You said it was Uber, right?
Yeah, it's like their
Like the
version of Uber. But
okay.
China's really efficient with bicycles. You see bicycles everywhere. You could just go rent a bike. It's starting to grow more here in Europe. I'm not sure about America, but we have like renting bike services where you can just rent a bike per
Mm.
hour. That came from Asia. Like China was doing that long before that came to Europe. So you could just rent a bike for very inexpensive. Also motorbikes are everywhere, whether in East Asia Southeast Asia, very big in Southeast Asia, but in China also motorbikes are everywhere. So say Didi, the Uber app, Subway, bicycles, or get yourself a motorbike. But not many foreigners ride a motorbike in China. It's mainly the taxi or the subway.
You know what's crazy is I do not see people on the bike anymore in the United States, man.
Really?
Yeah, like I guess nobody really prefers it. Everybody just drives because we got a whole lot of land, so it just makes sense to drive everywhere. But personally, I don't actually drive because I'm getting ready to go overseas and actually live over there. So I'm making basically making my income overseas and online. So
Absolutely.
it
I
doesn't
don't
really
really
make
see
sense for me.
driving in China, to be honest with you. Anyone who drives, either they're some high powered executive or it's more just for the clout or just to feel good. They just want to do it. There's really no need to drive in China. Like,
Hmm.
public transport is so efficient and so inexpensive. It's very, very rare to see any foreigner driving in China. I don't think I've ever even seen one.
Yeah, because one thing I noticed, man, is that people will see one thing that you don't do and say, "Why aren't you doing it?" They want you to follow the crowd. So
Yeah,
the way I do things, man, it just makes sense because I work remotely. I can actually just order anything to come to the house, and I'm good. And I'm willing to pay that extra fee because I don't drive and pay the gas and the car itself. So it's a
I get
win-win.
you. I think when you're abroad as well, I'm not sure about other countries, but I've lived in Korea and I've lived in China. We've done the stream in Korea before, but in China, I don't think you'd even want to drive because you're in a new country. You want to get to experience the country, and taking the taxis or taking the bike, taking the subway, you really
Yeah.
take it the city. So I wouldn't even recommend driving anyway. It's much better taking the public transport. You really get to experience the city.
Mm.
And something
Yeah.
so simple, taking public transport, you don't know what adventures you're gonna get into. I've had so many times where I've taken the underground, met someone interesting, and then ended up just traveling around with them. Got lost, ended up here, ended up there, and then ended up on a whole random adventure when all I wanted to do was just go out and buy some juice.
So, what would you say is like the everyday food choices people go for there? I'm hearing the plates in the background, man. What, what they serving up, man?
Sorry, say that again.
Um, so what kind of food do they actually have there in China? I'm hearing some plates in the background, man.
Oh,
Is
sorry,
that like a
man.
diner?
It's a bit of a cafe. Someone just came close, but I can
Okay.
move to a more quiet spot.
No, you're fine, man.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, well, if it gets too much, let me know, brother. I can just move seat.
Yeah, it was actually just it just works in hand with the topic because I was just talking about some food.
Okay. But yeah, with the so same as I said before, China is so diverse, it's so huge. Different areas are known for different kinds of cuisine. So, for example, up north, they have a lot of noodles. They're very known for eating noodles, whereas down south, it's more rice-based dishes. And I'm actually going back to China. I'm planning my move back there. So the city I'm going to be in, Chengdu, which is in the Sichuan region, they're known for having the spiciest food in the country. They're known for their spicy
Oh
food.
yeah, man.
Real spicy, like to the point where your mouth goes a bit numb. But the flavor is fantastic. Like it tastes so good. So, but whereas more the Guangdong region, such as Guangzhou, Shenzhen, closer to
Hmm.
Hong Kong, they have more sweet food. That's where you get your typical, like your Kung Pao chicken, your orange chicken, the things we're used to back home eating Chinese food in foreign countries. All the sweet are more Hong Kong style down there.
Okay. And man, I've always loved spicy food, so it does it hits home for
Oh,
me, man.
you love Chongdu, Chongqing if
Yeah.
you love spicy food, man. Hot pot in the winter time. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there, man. Some of the stereotypes are true, man. In China, if it's got a heartbeat, it can get eaten. It's actually true, man. When I got here, I was like, damn, you lot are eating this. Like, nothing is off limits. It's crazy, man. I remember
Yeah.
a funny story. I was teaching a class one time with some of my students, and I was giving a topic on birthday parties. So I remember I created a PowerPoint slide. I had pictures of burgers, chips, pizza. I said, "Oh, what do you eat for your birthday party?" My little student put their hands up. They're like, "Oh, deep fried rabbit's head." Whatever you're into, man. Happy birthday.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, different culture, man. It's interesting, man. I've been offered so many things: chicken heart, bullfrog. Um, there's a certain region the dog thing is true in a certain region. Not everyone does it, but there are certain regions where it's a thing. So yeah, man. In China, nothing's off limits. If it has a heartbeat, it can get eaten.
All right, what about insects? Do you serve insects over there?
Oh yeah, you can get that in the markets. You go to the night markets, you see all kinds of scorpion, bugs, all of that. I remember I was dating one Chinese girl. We went to the night market, and she was like munching on these worms or something, and she tried to offer it to me. She's like, "Try it, it's so nice." Thank you.
Man, now that I think about it, man, I think the last time I actually had any insects was back in elementary school. And we
Yeah.
had it was really salty, and it was actually like kind of like a gummy in a bit, but it's actually a real thing. So
Oh,
that was interesting.
how was it?
Um, it tasted like a gummy worm, but like salty a little bit. Salty a little
Never
bit,
tried.
it was like a little bit of sweetness to it.
Okay.
I'm
I
surprised
think
how
the
you even can
most
remember that.
adventurous I've ever done is probably a chicken heart and a bullfrog.
Wow, I actually never had any of those, so I gotta try that one day
Yeah.
just to have that experience. But so, how would you say is like the restaurants there? Is it like really clean usually, like really friendly?
The restaurants, it depends, man. It's how local do you want to go. Man, this is what I say with China. It's such an adventure. Like you can see it all. I've been to the most pristine, fancy restaurants. Amazing. I've also been to very local restaurants, which are just how do I describe the local restaurants? The food is amazing. It's not really fancy. You just got an auntie in the kitchen. Might be a family-run restaurant. Very
Oh, that's
simple.
how you know that food is good, man.
Oh, the food was fantastic, man. Absolutely. But there's different levels to the local ones. You've got the really homely, nice local ones. Then you've got some grimy, outright disgusting local places. I'm talking disgusting to the point where dudes be smoking inside. You're trying to eat, people blowing cigarette smoke everywhere, spitting
Yeah.
on the floor. And I'm not joking, man. I've literally seen dudes just poo on the floor. And you're thinking, bro, I'm trying to eat right
Oh.
here. You just spitting on the floor. That's disgusting, bro. Like you see
Mm.
it all in China, man. So there's varying levels. There's different levels.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I know guys will always say, man, it's always the positive, but it is it's life, man. We gotta be realistic. So I
Oh
appreciate the
yeah.
advice, man.
Especially the older generation, man, the spitting thing, it's a thing, man. I don't know why, man. People just be spitting and phlegming everywhere. I don't know why, man. It's disgusting, man. But hey, it's China, man.
Yeah, it's actually one of those things, man. I gotta confirm with if the camels actually do a lot of spitting. Is that something they do, or is that true?
If they what? Sorry,
The camels, like the animal.
camels.
I think they do the spitting, right?
I'm not too sure about that one. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I may be a myth. I don't know. I've never actually seen a camel, but I'm gonna check it out in Dubai once I go there before.
Cool.
So what would you say is like the food costs over there? Is it really cheap? What's the average range?
Oh man, ridiculously cheap, man. Ridiculously. Again, you could go to a more high-end restaurant and spend more money, but local spot. Let me think back. I'm going back in 2 weeks. It was 5 years ago I was there, so I'm sure it's gotten a bit more expensive. But you could literally get a whole meal for as little as £2, which is what $2.80, $3 for a whole meal that I can't finish that I have to take home as a
Oh
takeaway
wow,
bag.
that is really good.
Yeah, if you're
Okay.
eating locally, that inexpensive, brother. Genuinely that inexpensive. You can eat very well. Some places, the more high-end places, you can get anything from like maybe $12, but that's a bit more high-end. But for the most part, you can get really inexpensive meals if you're eating locally. Absolutely.
Okay.
And the food is delicious, man. Chinese food is banging, man. It's lovely, and they got so much variety. Cost of living in China is so low. It's crazy. I'll tell you one thing that is expensive though is the gym. The gyms are really
I was
expensive in
just about
China.
to go to that next, man. How's the health and fitness over there, bro?
I don't know why, man. It's like same thing in Korea. Like eating out. You know what's interesting? I know we're talking about China, but with Korea, real quick, eating out is cheaper than buying groceries and cooking at home. It's very weird. I don't know why.
In
But in
China?
China, either or. China's both is cheap. Eating out is cheap. Cooking at home is cheap. Groceries are cheap. But the gym is expensive. I'm not sure why. The gym industry is fairly new in China. It's on the rise and it's growing.
Mhm.
They ain't serious, man. China, you mainly just see people sitting on the machine on their phone. No one's
Yo, man. That's
So when
funny.
you come in, like you're banging out the waves, people are just staring at you like, "Oh my god, look at this guy!" And it goes part of the stereotype, like, "Oh, black people are so strong." Like,
Going
yes,
there with the
man.
big delts, man. Yeah, what's up, man? That's funny, man. So, how's the fashion sense over there? Given that the fitness is kind of there.
Um, it's quite varied, actually. It's quite varied. You've got the business guys in the suits, the ones that are working in finance, things like that. But they love street fashion as well. You see a lot of girls in like bucket hats, caps. Chinese girls love to wear caps with the long coat. A lot of streetwear, uh, tracksuits or sweatpants, as you say. But I'm noticing in the bigger cities like Beijing, for example, they're starting to follow more Korean fashion with the long coats and the turtleneck jumpers. But your day-to-day streetwear is quite popular in China, actually. Yeah. But in the major
Okay.
cities, in the more financial areas, I've noticed they follow Korean fashion quite a lot.
Okay.
But
So,
your day-to-day is usually streetwear, honestly.
so they're like all rounders. So they have like that adventurous. They got that business side. Okay.
Yeah, definitely all rounders. Absolutely, I'll say China is definitely an all rounder. But especially amongst the young generation, your day to day, you're gonna see people in streetwear, like very often, very casual.
Okay. So, how's the day of life and nightlife over there? Is it pretty good? Way better than
Man,
UK.
like there's so many people. It's very rare to see a quiet, empty street. There's so many people. It's always buzzing, always bustling. This is what I'm saying. It's damn near impossible to be born in China. Day or night, it's busy, it's bustling. People always out and about. Extremely safe as well, man. You could be out in China at any time of night. You don't really have to worry about nobody stepping to you, no problems. Chinese people don't really respect personal space, so you will have a lot of
Mhm.
people coming over to you, wanting to talk to you, get close to you, but there's no threat of violence or nothing like that. Very safe, but very busy. Yeah, very busy. Unless you're in a more of a rural or suburban area, it's always busy out here.
Okay. So this is actually something I actually want to bring up from before. In terms of the street food, now do they have like the alleys where they actually have the food on the side and there's like the main street in the middle? Or so how's the food on the street? Is it
The street food, it
would you
depends
say
on
it's
where you're going. So if you if you go to an actual night market,
mhm.
food is nice, food is good. But sometimes you have to be careful when you get those random street food vendors.
So it's like hit or miss?
Yes, hit or miss, man. And sometimes you just don't know with the hygiene, with the food hygiene, the oil
Yeah.
they use could be rather disgusting. Like I've had an experience of eating street food and then my belly was rumbling for days, man. I had issues. So with the street food, man, I'd say go to an actual market, like a night market. I personally don't really trust the random stores anymore. I either go to local restaurants or actual night markets.
Okay.
This is where having a Chinese friend or a Chinese girl you're dating comes in handy because through them you get to
Yeah.
know where to go, where not to go. Even if you do go local, they show you the best local places. So I say, yeah, get yourself a Chinese girl, man. It will save you, really, it will.
Now, speaking of Chinese girls, man, how are the women over there?
Okay, man, it's interesting, man. With this one, it's
Yeah,
so
compared to
nuanced.
like the UK or like the Western females, man.
Okay, it's so nuanced. Okay, I'm gonna say this in general. Beauty everywhere. Like I find you're more often gonna see beauty very much more often. Like you just step outside than in the UK. In the UK, like we've got some beautiful girls, but just seeing it on a regular basis is hit or miss. It's hit or miss. You
Mm.
don't just step outside and just see beautiful women like that. But in China, there's a lot of beautiful girls just walking around the city. It's like, whoa, like everyone's kind of pretty. So that's what I like about China. Just the level of beauty is up there. Chinese girls, I'm being real honest, man. They can be princesses at times, man. Princess syndrome, and the reason is because they're spoiled, man. They're spoiled. There is
Mm.
way more. I think there's about 60 million more Chinese men than there are women. Now I'm from the UK. Our population is 60 million, so that just puts things in perspective.
Mm.
They have
Now it
more
makes
women.
sense why they C block. Okay.
They've got unlimited options. They've got a bunch of dudes just simping heavy for them.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, because there's so many guys that will never get married, never have a girlfriend. So money talks in China. Like you got dudes, the typical Chinese dude is just flooding girls with money, buying gifts, buying presents. So money speaks in China. If you got money to spend, you're gonna get the best girl. Now you can find girls who aren't gold diggers, who aren't into money. Um, it's possible, but I'm just putting it out there. Money speaks in China because the guys simp heavy. They simp
Mhm.
heavy. And it's a part of the culture. It's actually in the culture to spend money. It's called being a generous man. So when women say, "Oh, I like a man who's generous," what she really means is, "Yo, you're gonna spend some money on me." So that leads to Chinese girls being spoiled, man. I won't lie, they're very spoiled, very flaky, can be very, very flaky. And again, it's because the dudes just be simping hard. They have the pick of the litter. When you've got like 10, 20 dudes on you, you're not really going to invest in your personality and trying to be interesting. Like you can talk to a Chinese girl, "Hey, how you doing?" "Fine." "What are you up to?" "Nothing." And then the conversation's just boring. You find yourself saying,
Oh dang.
like,
Okay.
yeah, and it gets like that. But again, the population is so huge. That's quite often you can meet some really cool ones, though. I won't lie, you can meet some really cool ones, especially the ones whose English is a bit better. They're usually more fun to talk to, more open-minded. So it's hit or miss, man. You can get it all in China. You can get it all. Also, let me put you on game. Chinese girls are hustlers, man. They're hustlers. Be careful. You can find a Chinese girl who you think is interested in you. You think she's interested in you. Really and truly, man, she's using you to learn English.
Oh dang.
It happens, man. Or she'll show off to her friends. "Oh, look at me. I've got this foreign friend. Look how cool I am." And then once she's got a couple
Oh,
of
just like
random
Japan.
friends, ghost on you. So
Okay.
I'm just giving you things to like look out for. But even then, they can be fun as well, man. Like Chinese, sometimes when you find a cool one, when you find a cool Chinese girl, they're cool, man. They super loyal, can be very jealous, extremely jealous. When a Chinese girl is dating you, bro, the jealousy is through the roof, man. You're her man. Like any notion of you chatting to anyone else, Chinese girls can get crazy, man. Like
Yeah.
they take jealousy to another level. Depends how you look at it, man. That can be annoying or it can be kind of cute. What else? Yeah, man. When she's really into you, the loyalty is through the roof, bro. Loyalty can really be through the roof. I've been in some sticky situations where The Chinese girls I was dating, they really came through for me, man. Really came through for me.
Mm. So this is one of those things, man, where man, you gotta check all the boxes, man. Like as a man in life, man, you gotta check all the boxes, man. You gotta have the money, you gotta have the status, man. You gotta have the frame, which is basically also game. So, but
100, man. I'm trying to give you the real because I know a lot of guys in the travel space, they go to certain countries and they're like, oh, X country women so amazing. Nah, man, there's no utopia. Every country
yeah,
has its bad. So I'm giving you both, man. So yeah, Chinese girls, they can be very stuck up, very arrogant, very, very stuck up. But also they can be very, very loyal and Chinese girls are freaky, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You're gonna have a good time.
we might have to make a Patreon on that one.
Okay, I'll keep it coded, man. I'll keep it quiet, but that's all I'm gonna say. It goes down, man. It goes down. It goes down. You're gonna have a good time, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. They're active, man. Like the surface of things is very conservative, but behind closed doors, it's a
Mm,
whole different world. That's what I'm gonna say about China.
okay. So,
Body game. Sorry, real quick, bro. Body game is big in China as well, especially as a black man. You being fit because Chinese dudes ain't built like that. They're not, man. Like I said, the gym industry is new. Not people ain't working out like that. You fairly in shape, fairly built, got a little bit of muscle on you. It goes a long way. That's the first thing girls are gonna recognize. You're strong. You're fit. Yeah, man, that goes a long way in China. So,
yeah,
guys,
that's a
man, get in the gym, man, get fit, man. Especially in China, it goes a long way.
I believe it, man, because just having the fitness alone, man, you put yourself way above the average, man. So,
Oh yeah,
and seeing that in China where they have less females than males, oh yeah, dude. Oh my
long
god,
way, bro. Long way, man. Like,
good masculine
I
trait to
just see
have.
that in crowds, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was profound right there. So now, would you say the girls over there in China are they feminine, and for the most part? 'Cause you know how in the West, man, these girls, man, is what you gonna do for me? And then they say the N word.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah, man.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna say
god.
for the most part, compared to Western women, way more feminine. I'm not gonna say they're the most feminine in Asia, but compared to Western women, absolutely, man, absolutely feminine. You get different personalities. You can get some really quiet, humble ones, and you can get more outspoken ones. Like I said, a lot of Chinese girls have princess syndrome and a bit spoiled, but for the most part, they can be quite feminine, man. It's quite refreshing, very refreshing.
So, what would you say is like the best places to actually meet the women in China that you actually find attractive?
I'm gonna say just be outside, man. Just be outside, man. My best advice when it comes to this, and I always say this: double down on your interests. That's the best place to meet a woman. If you go to the gym, hit the gym. If you do some sort of sport, do that sport in that country. So, for example, for me, I do Muay Thai, I do Jiu Jitsu. So, most of my dating, most of the most amazing women I meet at Jiu Jitsu or at Muay
Mm.
Thai. If you like to read or learn languages, go to the library. I spend a lot of time studying languages. So I'm in the coffee shop. You see, I'm in the coffee shop right now. And in China, man, it's easy, man. I'll see another girl in the coffee shop, a regular. I'll just go over, spark up a conversation. It's that easy, man. So my answer to that is double down on your interests because it comes down to quality of woman as well, not just quantity. You want a quality woman. So when you double down on your interests, you find a woman who has a similar interest as you, more
Mm.
likely to have success, man, than just trying to be like a pickup artist and you're just every 5 seconds, oh excuse me, oh okay, excuse me. That's long, man. I don't have time for that, man. I don't have time to try and day game like that, man. I just double down on my interests and I meet women wherever I'm at.
It's funny, man. I'm just like that, bro. That's insane, man. We we share a lot in common already, bro.
So see with the pickup thing for me, yeah, like for me, I focus more on building a lifestyle that attracts
Hmm.
women. anyway, rather than going out my way to chase,
And
man. I
Chase,
say
yeah, I
focus
don't know.
on building a lifestyle and it will come to you. That's why I say double down on your interests and it will come to you. Me, I'm more. I'm not a hunter. I'm a trapper. That's the way I don't hunt. I trap. I
Yeah,
focus on building a certain lifestyle for myself, and that way I meet the right people who I need to meet. They just come to me.
yeah, that's great advice, man. Because I always say, man, as a man, man, you got to become somebody because we're born with no value, man. So we actually have to become somebody out in that world and help other people. So as a woman, they're born with their value, man. So they start off the gate early and doing their thing.
Absolutely.
So
I
so
think
as
if
a
you want to
man,
pick a thing ineffective, bro, I think time
mhm,
management is really important. Like guys like us who are working on ourselves, building businesses. This is what I mean, where you focus more on building a lifestyle that women are attracted to. Because if you're out there trying to day game all the time, that's time you could be building something. When you build something, you'll be surprised how the women just come to you. It's not efficient. And a guy like me, some people prefer having a relationship. I like rotational dating. In China,
mhm.
I'll have like 3, 4 girlfriends, not including chicks on the side. I like having several girlfriends. So I don't have time to be day gaming like that. I'm focusing on my hustle, focusing on my kingdom building. And yeah, man, that's how I like to play it. Now, with the online game, you can play the online game as well. But I'd say be careful though, because you get a couple catfishes when you're doing the Tinder thing online. So just be careful. And yeah, like again, when it comes to online, Chinese girls can be extremely flaky, extremely flaky.
Mm,
So I prefer in person.
okay. Now, man, I always say this, man. As a man, man, you gotta become a somebody, man. Just women are just a byproduct. So if you create that kingdom, they're going to see that kingdom and want to be a part of it. So, and then you want to look out for the woman to try to go in that kingdom, and then try to
Mm,
mess with everything and just destroy it on this way down. So, be
absolutely,
careful who you
brother.
choose
I
as a
used to
life
be
partner.
100%. I used to think, oh, I want to meet someone who I can build with. I used to have that mentality. Not
Mm.
anymore. I don't really watch a lot of Fresh and Fit
It's so
anymore. But I
rare.
agree with one thing that Myron said. He said that women don't build, they move in, and I actually
Hmm.
agree with that. So I'd rather focus on building my kingdom, and she can move into the kingdom rather than trying to find someone to build with. Yeah, I think my mission is just to build, and they'll come.
Yeah, man, I agree. I actually met Myron and the whole team over there in Miami. They're pretty
Okay,
cool dudes, man. So
respect.
yeah. Um. So for the online dating, man, I know there are guys out there who want to ask. So how would you say how is it over there in China compared to
It's a
the
numbers
UK
game. I'll be so real with you. It's a numbers game.
volume?
There's other places where it's easier. Um, for example, online dating in Korea is easy, man. At least for me, it was too easy in Korea. Man, it was just like match after match after match. China, it's a numbers game because, like I said, the problem with China is there are so many more men than women, like 60 million more. Like it's actually ridiculous. The effects are crazy. These women really are spoiled for choice. And when you've got all these Chinese men simping like crazy, just
They
throwing
ruin the
money,
game, man.
it ruins the game, man. And I see it in China, man. It's ruined the game. So these girls are extremely flaky. But again, it's a numbers game. You can get success. Online, playing the online game in China, you'll find there's a lot of very beautiful but older, lonely women. And in China, divorce is still very taboo. So you'll find often situations where you'll find a gorgeous woman. She's not divorced, but she's not with her husband anymore either. So she's out looking for a boyfriend, even though she's still married. It's kind of crazy, but that's very common in China. You'll have a married woman just looking for a boyfriend, and you'll find most of them online on like Tinder and things like that. And I'll just be very honest with them, just be like, hey, you're gorgeous. I'm just wondering, like, why are you on Tinder? I always ask this. I always ask, why are you on Tinder? What are you looking for? And you'll be surprised. Some Chinese girls are honest, man. They'll just say straight, "Yeah, I just want friends with benefits," or "Yeah, I'm not with my husband anymore. I'm just looking
Appreciate the
for."
honesty, man.
Yeah, man. The Chinese girls are honest, man. They're pretty honest, man. As much as they're flaky, the older ones can be really honest. So be warned. That's very common, man, to find like a woman who's maybe 35, maybe slightly older, but roughly around 35 to 40. Husband separated. He's doing his thing on the side. She wants a new boyfriend. That's quite common on the online game.
Okay. No, this is
Here's what I
actually.
do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Now, with the online game, this is the way I like to play it. I don't like wasting my time. I'm always looking for progression. I'm trying to weed out the time wasters from who's real. So the
Yeah.
way I do that, I don't waste days on them chatting to girls. This is how I do my online game. We chat a little bit, make her laugh a little bit, little one compliment, little laugh. My aim is progression always, which means the first thing I want to do is get her off Tinder or off whatever dating app I'm using. Either I want to get straight to Instagram or to WeChat. WeChat is China's version of WhatsApp. The reason why I do that is because on Tinder, everyone's messaging her. Anyone who she's talking to, she's already matched with. If you get her WeChat or her Instagram, you shorten the pool of other men that she's talking to. So you're constantly climbing up the tower of power, as I like to call it. So me, I'll exchange maybe like, I don't know, 5 to 10 messages. That's it, man. I'm not spending days talking. 5 to 10 messages, and then I'll just write WeChat question mark. That's it. No long thing. No. Oh, would you like to exchange? No, I'm direct, straight to the point. WeChat
Hmm.
question. And more time they'll give it to me. I move on to WeChat, chat for a little bit. I'll chat for once I get the WeChat, I give it a little more time, maybe a day or two. After max 2 days, I say let's have a phone call. Again, progression, progression, progression. Have a phone call. They hear my voice. I hear their voice. That's just to prove I'm a real person. I'm not a creep.
Yeah.
On the phone call, at the end of the phone call, I give it 20, 30 minutes max. Say, you know what, you're really cool. Let's meet up. And that's how I secure the date. I'm not spending days, weeks talking to a girl, not trying to meet up because Chinese girls are flaky. And doing that method that I established in China, it led to great success. And I could weed out the time wasters from who's really serious doing it that way.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely good, man. I like that. That makes a lot of sense too, because just have that direct approach, man. Otherwise, he's gonna get their time wasted, man, from what you got to do. So,
The ones that say no, I'd rather talk more on Tinder, I'd rather talk here a bit more, I just ignore them.
nah, yeah,
I want to know, I say WeChat, they give it to me straight away. I'm like, okay, this girl's, she's down, she's serious, she's worth giving time to.
okay. Now this might be more of like a controversial topic, but polygamy, man.
Ooh.
Well, now, what do you think of polygamy in China? Just being honest about it to the female, though.
Sure thing, man. Like I
But
said, me personally, I like rotational dating. That's just my thing. I've nothing against the monogamy thing. I'm not saying I'd never do it, but right now I like the rotational thing. But in terms of polygyny, in China, man, like it's not uncommon for dudes to have multiple women, man. But they're not really doing it in a polygynous way. And when I say polygynous way, I mean, for me, when I think of polygyny, I think of honesty, as
yeah,
in everyone knows the deal. The women know you have multiple
yeah,
women.
that's the way I see it. Yeah,
Yeah. There's no hiding. There's no games. Like the women know you
no,
have other women, and they accept it. They just love you as long as you know you still love them. You make them feel special. You make them feel wanted. They understand you have multiple women. It's cool. Guys don't really play that game in China. It's all secret and it's all hidden. Like dudes will have multiple women, but it's all secret. They're all sneaking around, and they have a word for this. They call them Janan, which means trash guy. Janan. So there's a women's trash guy. Guys with multiple women sneaking around. So no, polygyny is not really practiced in China, but everyone has multiple women, man. But they're doing it in a more roundabout, secret kind of way.
yeah, because man, it seems like, man, in terms of polygamy, man, I personally think it's a man's natural proclivity,
Mm.
but it's only a matter of actually acting upon that proclivity. Only if you become the best version of yourself, actually pull it off. But as an average guy, I don't think you can really pull it off because the woman is gonna have more value than the average guy. But
I agree, brother. I absolutely agree. I think if that's a lifestyle you know you want to live, if you know in your heart of hearts, having one woman is not for you, there's nothing wrong with that. But my thing with everything else you want in life, are you willing to pay the price?
mm-hmm.
There's an opportunity cost for everything. You know what I mean? You want to be fit, you want to be ripped, you got to pay a price. You got to put in hours in the gym.
I
You
had
got
the
to put
whole
down the
package,
burger
man.
and maybe eat the salmon and the avocado instead. You know what I mean? There's an opportunity cost for everything. So with the polygyny thing, you want that kind of lifestyle? Cool. I mean, who's to judge you and say you're wrong?
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna have to be a certain kind of man. Your money's got to be right. Your mind's got to be right. Your lifestyle's got to be right. Like, are you willing to put in that work and be that certain high value man that a woman can't leave you? Like, even if she's jealous of you having another woman, she thinks to herself, I'm never gonna meet a better man than him. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay knowing he has another woman. Are you willing to put in that work?
And you gotta be willing to be honest, man. You can't be lying because otherwise, man, now she's gonna see you as a. just be honest, man. You don't want all this drama anyhow. So
That's
that's
the
just the way to
worst thing
go.
you can do, bro.
Yeah.
If you really want to live that life for real, honesty is the best policy, man. So, for example, not in China, because I was too young then, man. I was only like
Mm-hmm.
27 when I went to China. I'm 31 now. But when I was in Korea and I started understanding polygyny more, it got to a point where I had two girls on the go and they knew about each other, man. I was a bit older then. It wasn't a thing that I went to them and sat them down like, oh, by the way, I've got another girl. No, I was just seeing both of them simultaneously. They found out about each other, and at the point they confronted me, I was just, yep, this is the situation. Look, I like both of you. I want to keep seeing both of you. Like, it is what it is. I respect both of you. I'm gonna treat all you. You look good. Treat you good. And I just downplayed it, man. I was like, bro, it's what it is, man. Like, brother,
That's it, man.
I live life with an open palm philosophy, meaning, hey, like a bird, if you land in my palm, cool, you can stay. I'm not gonna crush and try and keep a hold
Yeah.
of you. It's like, if you
Yeah, I like that
go, you
analogy,
go.
man.
You stay. Open palm philosophy. So when I just kept it chill, you know what it is, brother? They want the drama. They want the whole hoopla. And the worst thing
Mm-hmm.
you can do is, oh, I'm sorry. The moment you say sorry,
Just don't play the
you're
game,
expressing
man.
guilt. Yeah, that's guilt. I'm not guilty of anything. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, it was an accident. No, I fucked. I banged her because I wanted to bang
Yeah.
her. You know, it's not an accident. So being honest, next thing you know, bro, fast forward, they both ended up staying.
Mm-hmm.
They pretended like they left, but they both came back and was
See,
like,
man.
okay, fine. As long as you give me equal, attention, it's good.
Yeah, this all as long as you be honest, man. That's really the moment she catch you lying, man. She just think you were just a coward, and I just picked the wrong guy, man. So you just ended it right
Exactly.
there, just from lying.
You lose
So
respect, man. You lose respect, man. So yeah, that's it, bro. That's it, man. People say like, oh, Asian girls ain't gonna go for that. I'm like, hey, it depends for the right guy. They
mm, yeah, yeah. It's just interesting how people just never talk about that topic, and it's strange. It's like they're just ignoring their natural biology and just is giving their power to other people. So I can understand it though. It's usually just for the average people, but I can understand
I
that.
will say, especially in Asia, for the most part, women will frown on it, and there's some truth in that. It's just not in that culture. Like, they want
Yeah.
the monogamy. But again, for the right guy, yeah.
Yeah. Because I know for me right now, man, I'm really trying to develop myself and become a better person. So I'm trying to get my fitness back on point, man. Going to stay there after I get there. Um, Understanding the food that we eat every day. I know in America, man, the food here is toxic, man. I don't know if you got like a American food over there in the UK. I think they actually put labels on it in the UK, and they actually say how like it's really harmful towards the human body. So correct me
The
if I'm
food here is
wrong,
trash
though.
as well. It's not as bad as you guys in America, but the food here is pretty trash as well, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the money and opportunity over here is great, man, but you gotta make the money online and just go overseas where the cost of living is so much better and the quality of life is so much better. It's not worth it
100%.
living here in the United States or this Western country in general.
You know what, Devin, bro? If I'm being honest, man, like, I'd say you need to, not you personally, but in
Mm.
general, you need to start being that guy before you get abroad.
Yeah.
Because if you are implementing the habits and the mentality of that high value man you want to be from where you
Mm.
are while you're stuck in the West, brother, by the time you get over there, sky's the limit, man. The world is yours. So that's why, man, no more, and it starts with your language. No more, I'm trying to work out, I'm trying to this. It's just, I'm doing it. I'm working out, I'm building businesses. Even if you're not where you want to be, try out your vocabulary. It's, no, this is what I'm doing. I'm this guy. Even if you ain't got £1 million online business yet,
Mm.
I am an online entrepreneur. I am a digital entrepreneur. No, it's who
I
you
like
are.
that, man. I like that. You got the mindset, man. You ready? So,
100, bro.
so have you had any experience with any rich people over there in China?
Bro, when I was teaching over there, I was teaching at a private boarding school. All the parents of these children were rich. There was just money all over, and that's why again I was making such good money in China. The private lessons I had, I was charging
Mm.
stupid money like between like $50 an hour for a private English tutoring session. So yeah, man, all the teachers, all the parents, sorry, that I was dealing with, all rich people work for the government. There's a lot of money in China.
Okay. Now, for the guys out there who may ask you, how were you able to actually land that job? Do you need the college degree? Do you just need to know connections of people? Speak on that, bro.
Okay, for China, I'll be so real with you. For the most part, if you have a degree, it's your best opportunity. Back in the day, you could still get a teaching job without a degree. It's more difficult now. If English teaching is the route you want to take to escape the West and get abroad, there are other countries which is easier to get a job without a degree. For
Mm.
example, Vietnam, Thailand. Thailand doesn't pay as well. Vietnam pays pretty decent. So there's Colombia. There's other places to go to. China, if in terms of just the money you can make, China takes home the gold. It's the best country in terms of not a lot of stress, less working hours, higher salary. But to get that kind of deal, you do need a degree. If you don't have a degree, there's other countries you can go to.
Okay. So, would you say there's any negative traits that people have there in China?
If they're what, sorry?
Any negative traits?
Negative traits of the people or the country?
Just anybody in over there in China, like the people of the country, China.
You know what I found interesting, man? There's certain Westerners that go over there and bring their bad habits with them. For example,
Oh,
a lot of South Africans out there, like white South Africans, bring their racism over there, and
oh man.
yeah, man, and I'm like, yo, leave your racist ass attitude back home in South Africa. Don't bring that over here. I remember there was one time when I first got there. It was my first couple of weeks there. I saw some other foreigners in a restaurant. I got excited because I haven't seen any other foreign faces in weeks. So I went over, introduced myself, tried to make friends. It was two South African guys and a bunch of other Chinese people. When I came over to introduce myself, they gave me the most disgusting look. And I was thinking, what's going on? Like, I came over friendly, like, hey, how you doing? I'm new here. And they just gave me a look like I'm just bothering them, like, just leave. And I was thinking, what? What's going on? And it happened again another time with another South African. It was a trend here. I'm thinking, what's going on? So yeah, man. And then I dated one Chinese girl who told me that there was a South African guy. So it's the same South African guy
Mm.
who used to tell her, yeah, stay away from black people and all the
Oh
negative
man.
impacts of that. So that happens. Like a lot of certain group of people bring their nonsense over to Asia. They think Asia is
Yeah.
their dumping ground and their playground. So that happens, man. That definitely happens. So yeah. Another negative, when you're dating Chinese women, Chinese men get extremely, extremely jealous. Now, here's the difference between, let's say, like Korea and China. I've lived in both. In Korea, the men get really jealous, but they hide it and they keep it low key. At least Korean people are very respectful in that way. They don't
Mm.
be hating to your face. For some people, they might prefer that, but in China, you're gonna notice it, man. You're gonna know that they're hating on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna know they're hating on you. So, and they're very more out there with it. So, for example, no joke, man. Every time you go to the urinal and you stand up to piss, don't be surprised. You Chinese dude will trying to steal a look at you, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yo.
Yeah, I know it sounds nuts, but it happens so much, brother. It got to the point where I stopped taking showers in the gym, man. I'm having grown ass men tapping
Oh
their
my
feet,
god.
look, pointing at my. Yeah, man. They're like, it's crazy, bro. Chinese dudes, they're obsessed with the size of your. It's nuts, man. Even when I'm taking taxis everywhere, I'm in the taxi driver, we're having normal conversation. The same topic always comes up. Oh, so you like Chinese girls? Oh, do you date Chinese girls? Oh, so you must have a big one, huh? They're obsessed, bro. Obsessed. It's not uncommon for Chinese dudes just to come out with it and just start asking you about the size of your. Yeah, man. You won't get that in Korea. They're way more reserved, way more polite. But in China, they're out there, man. It's wild.
Mm. So, what did you say? There's any dangers to be aware of over there in China?
Any what? Sorry.
Dangers to be aware of.
Dangerous. Not physically. Like I said, China is extremely safe. You're not really gonna have any fear of violence or anything like that. But I just say, just be aware of scammy people, man. Like especially more time when people go out their way to be your friend, they might want something from you. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. In China, like it can get really scammy. So like you gotta have your wits about you. Chinese people, if they can scam you, they will scam you. Like don't get me wrong, they're not all bad. Some of them are very lovely people. But it can be really scammy. So just have your wits about you. Have your wits about you.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, if you're an influencer, if you've got any plans of having any kind of online presence, be warned, man. The keyboard warriors in China are crazy. You think it's bad in the West, like people just talking rubbish on the internet. In China, they take it to another level. So if you expose you and your Chinese girl online, expect her to get a different level of hate, man. It's crazy. So
Mm.
I wouldn't expose you and your Chinese girl online too much. Being out in public is fine. There's no threat. There's no danger like that. You will have people staring at you all the time, but that's as far as it goes. They just stare, maybe make you uncomfortable. But online, I'm talking like death threats. I'm gonna kill you, your family, all of this
Mm.
racial slurs. Yeah, it goes down online in China. Like online is just it's ruthless. It's ruthless. They'll never do anything in person, but online it's ruthless. So I wouldn't really be posting you and your Chinese girl like that.
Yeah, 'cause always those. There's always gonna be those creeps out there, man. Just trying
Yeah.
to go in
Oh,
the DMs and stuff.
they're nosy with your money, man. They're always trying to dig like, yo, how much money you making? Like the jealousy in China is crazy. They
You got
don't
no business knowing.
Don't they'll just come out with it like, yo, how much money are you making? Don't tell them. I always say in
Yeah,
Chinese, Mimi means secret. Just say Mimi, like it's my secret. Like don't
that's how you
tell
say
them.
it. Okay, so that's how you
Mimi,
actually say secret in
Mimi,
Chinese. Mimi.
yeah, Mimi means secret. Just go Mimi, like yeah. Don't tell them. They always ask one, how big is your? How many Chinese girls have you? And how much money are you making? They always ask. The
Okay.
jealousy is crazy. But besides that, I can't really think of any dangers, man. And just yeah, I'm not saying be overly skeptical, but just look out for people trying to scam you, man. They're not
Mhm.
always trying to be your friend. The jealousy is crazy with Chinese guys, man. Just you've been warned.
Yeah. So in China, what's the religion over there? Is it Buddhism, right?
Nah, bro, there's no religion over there, man. People think that the religion in China is money, bro. They worship money. Literally, bro, to the point where it's a tradition. They will go and do certain ceremonies and prayers for more money. Like they pray for
Yeah.
more money.
It's
Yeah, the
it's
religion in China,
seeming
bro.
yeah, because it's seeming
There's
like
no religion.
status is actually the really big factor within China. It's
Yeah,
status.
Buddhism, all of that. You're gonna find that more in like Taiwan and maybe there, but in China, nah, man, they've done away with religion, especially since the Cultural Revolution after Mao. Yeah. Oh, bro, just reminded myself when you asked me about dangers. Do not And I'm warning you, do not speak on political matters. China is super safe. You can do whatever you want. Like I said, I have such freedom there. I date, I make money, I do what I want. But the one area you do not touch is speaking about religion and politics. Those are two no-nos. Don't even do it. Don't do it, man. That's when it can get messy sticky for you. Don't talk on religion. Don't talk on politics. Besides that, you're gonna have an amazing life there.
Okay. So, is there any last words for the viewers out there? This has been an amazing stream, man.
Man, if they haven't got boots on the ground experience, don't believe everything you hear about China, man. Go experience it for yourself. It's a crazy adventure. China's one of those places where you go, you have stories for life. Literally, it's crazy adventures. It doesn't even seem like a real place. That's China. So if you want to have crazy adventures or you want to make a lot of money in a short period of time, I'd say go, man. It's a lot of fun. I probably wouldn't settle there full time for life, but you never know. I'll never say never, but I'd say go experience it, man. It's a lot of fun. Definitely do it.
All right. So, how can people find more about you?
About me, well, you can find me on Instagram. My current handle is underscore samurai show, SAMURAISHO. And yeah, in a couple weeks when I get to China, I'll be starting my own YouTube channel. So I'm going to be making content in China about traveling, martial arts, and language learning. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to follow you, brother.
I'll let you know, brother. Definitely.
And there you have it, guys. Make sure to look after yourself from around the world, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.
Peace.